Hello and welcome to another Form a Day challenge by Clever. My name is Kareem Cooperhouse, and today for day 9, we are going to revisit the support staff appraisal. We looked at one earlier in the challenge, and we're going to look at a different form today. And let me pull up a version of it here that a district had. And you can see that it's a standard staff evaluation form with a list of skills and different levels of competency based on exemplary, good, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory, and a little area to put in some comments. And there are different categories like health and safety and interpersonal relationships and communications. And so what we did is within the Clever platform, of course, we automated this form. So let's take a look at what we did. And what the district had brought to our attention is that there were two different appraisals for the same employee groups. One that was for probation, which is a simpler form. And if I show you the form over here, you can see that on the first form, they describe the purpose of the performance appraisals as well as the rating scheme. And then when you go to the second tab, it's been simplified where job knowledge is a general category, job performance, relationships. Again, this time with only 3 different levels. And then the communications and recommendation, and then the finalization. So what happens is that as a supervisor is checking off all of the different performance appraisal categories, they're putting in their comments as well as their recommendations, and then indicating whether or not this employee is being retained as a probationary employee or as a permanent employee, or they're being terminated. And this kicks off other workflows, other forms within the Clever platform. And if I go back to my listing here, I'm going to look at the original performance appraisal for an employee that is not on probation. So an employee with seniority. So if I look at Kyle over here, again, in that first tab, this is best practice. We are describing the purpose of the form. We are indicating the ratings scheme. And then I'm moving over to the performance area, and you can see how the performance area is broken down into all these different categories. As I go from category to category, I can go down every one of these skills and then pick from the drop down that the district has designed. I go to the next one, and then health and safety, and so on and so forth. And once I'm done, I can then go into the comments and objectives, put in some comments, as well as some objectives for the following year, complete it. It's making sure that I've completed everything, so it won't let me complete this until I've actually done the evaluation. And once that's done, I'm going to go to finalization, where I can finalize the form. And after that, updates will not be available. Now, this is a pretty straightforward form. What's really interesting about the form is not the form itself, but the ability to look for data. And every field within a Clever platform can become a searchable field. So if I go to this particular performance appraisal and look for a certain field, let's say it's this one over here, I want to know how many times has someone been rated as unsatisfactory. So let me unselect all of these, come to this one, and then do my search. I can see that there are 2 people that have been rated unsatisfactory. Well, based on this, I can follow up, I can put in place measures, I can offer professional development. And so this is the real power behind the Clever platform. It's not just the ability to digitize your forms and automate the workflows, but it's to tease out, to pull out the data necessary to make evidence-based decisions. And like I mentioned before, every field within a Clever form can become a searchable field. It's up to you to design it that way, and which is why we often recommend our clients to reverse engineer their forms, meaning what data do they want to be able to pull out at the end in order to drive their evidence-based decision making. Well, what you do is once you figure that out, you go back into the form, you make sure that data fields are available and that they are searchable fields, and voila, you now have access to that data. I hope you've enjoyed this revisiting of a staff appraisal. Stay tuned tomorrow for our next Form a Day challenge.